Good evening and welcome to Harnett Central Middle School. We're pleased if you are able to fill in some of the seats. We have some others that are coming on. There are some others that are standing in the back due to the fire marshal's regulations. You cannot stand along the wall. You do have to find a seat. So please work your way on down in and have a seat. It's great to have the auditorium at capacity for our first session, and we're reaching capacity this time around. So I do appreciate the time that you have taken to be out here tonight for this initiative that we're working on. I want to begin by saying how we have reached this point. Conversation began in January with our superintendent, Mr. Williams, Dr. Hones, our assistant superintendent for instruction, as Mr. Jeff Pittman, our chief technology officer. And for so often, due to the population that we have here at Harnett Central Middle School, we are told why we can't do something because we're so big. Well, this time we wanted to do something because we are so big. We are under this initiative with Chromebooks to be able to have a device in everyone's hands on the campus, from my office all the way down to all of our students. So the school system has invested in purchasing 1,300 Chromebooks for the use on this campus, and we're excited about this opportunity and what it will grow and do. Many of our staff have already had some of these Chromebooks in place since October. They have been working with those as we make a transformation to the Google platform. And your students already have Google accounts through Gmail. They are already doing some of these things through cloud storage and through other Google applications. And the Chromebook will allow them to continue to open straight to the internet and be able to have that applications right there with them in school. It is a web-based product through the cloud server that they are able to access that when they are at home. So just because we're using these here does not mean that they will not have access to the information that's stored in their Google Drive when they are not at school. It will be accessible to them if you have access to internet at home. So let's go ahead and get started talking a little bit about what the Chromebook basics are as we'll go through and talk with you. Again, thank you for coming out. So our basics. A Chromebook is a Google-based laptop. Everything in it is web-based. Students will use their Google accounts to create documents, slides, applications, spreadsheets, anything, and they will also be able to share information with their students and teachers in the Google Classroom. It is a small and lightweight device. This is an example of one. When your students come into homeroom, they will have their Chromebook and all the others will be stored in a cart very similar to this one. They will retrieve their Chromebook in the morning, and in the afternoon they will dock it again in the evening where it will charge overnight. So we'll give you some more examples of what this looks like and some other benefits and some issues for the covers and things like that as we go on throughout this evening. The one-to-one initiative. Every student whose parent fills out the accountability, liability, and expectation agreement, which you're here to do that tonight, so that'll greatly help out, will be issued a Chromebook to use at school each day. It will be their laptop. They will have it, as I said, in the morning, and they'll return it in the afternoon. So it is theirs to use throughout the day. You can carry it to your classes like you could in a binder. You're the only one who has the ability to log into it. It's yours. The Chromebooks must remain at school. That's through this school year. We're going to see how it goes working with this as we go from now through the end of the school year. We would love to be able to get to the point that we're able to use these as we have at one time textbooks and get those out to the students. But right now we just want to see how it works and getting it into their hands and trying to share that at this point in time now. Students will get their Chromebook from the cart in the homeroom every day. They'll bring it to their core classes. They'll return it to the homeroom at the end of the day and plug it in. The elective teachers, PE teachers, also will have availability. If they have a need to use the Chromebooks, they will communicate that with the students. They will also have some of our other technology devices that they will be able to store in their classrooms. So unless the elective teacher specifies that they'll need to bring that into the classroom, they won't have to take it into their electives and into the PE classes. There are occasional days where you're going to have to pick your child up. So we want to let you know what the expectation is if you have to pick your child up. If the student leaves early, you must go to your homeroom and return the computer. Teachers should be in and around the neighborhood, so you'll be able to check in with them and take care of that. If the teachers aren't there, we ask that you have your student return the Chromebook to Ms. Buzzard in the office. Then we'll make sure it gets docked in with the homeroom. If you don't return your Chromebook, then the teacher's going to report it as missing. We'll check and see if it was turned into the office. If it was turned into the office, it's an easy solution. It's not missing. Everybody moves on. It's docked. We take care of everything. If you lose your Chromebook, then you're going to have to pay to replace it, and there could possibly be disciplinary action as a result of those if you take it home and it is not returned. Just a couple of ideas about what we look at. The laptops must remain in their original settings. This includes the screensavers as well as the background. No food or beverages can be around these, and you cannot deface the laptops in any way with stickers, writing on it, etchings, or anything such as that. But you can, with your covers, and we'll talk more about those a little bit later on, you can personalize your covers. That's yours. Have it, enjoy it, do as you need to with it. Students will be charged for any damage to the Chromebooks. This includes popping off the keys, cracks to the screens, or to the body of the Chromebook, defacing it in any way. And we're encouraging that you get a case for your Chromebook. Ms. Wise, our technology facilitator, will talk a little bit about that, and she'll give you some examples. And again, you can personalize the cover any way that your student would like to. If the device gets damaged, then we're asked that you report it to your teacher immediately. You'll have opportunities to come in, use these. We're going to try to schedule some nights, evenings, where you can be able to see what your students are doing on these. If you see anything that's irregular with it when you come in, we want you to report that as well. So we're looking at it as best as we can to try to get this taken care of as best as we can to make sure it's going on. Teachers will inspect the Chromebooks periodically. They'll do damage checks. They'll also check for the information that is stored on there, as well as the information that's stored in the cloud. They'll do a history check to see where you have gone in with the browser, and all these things. This again is for your protection as well as for your students' protection and for our protection. For instructional use, just like any other electronic devices, you can, but we're not going to allow you to message, games, earbuds, downloading files, social networking, or apps. You're not going to be able to do any of those things on this. You do have phones, so hopefully we're going to eliminate the use of the phones by allowing you to have the Chromebooks in your child's possession. I know, just like my children, many of your children have cell phones. You have them so they can get in touch with you if they need to during the day. But getting in touch with you during the day is not sending a text message to the person that's sitting across the hall. And so we're having problems with that. So we're trying to make sure that if you want your students to have their phones with them at school, we're encouraging them, once the Chromebooks go out, so that will be in a week, that they keep their phones in their lockers, or sixth graders keep them in their book bags in their cubbies. We don't need to have them out throughout the day for that. Students already have Gmail accounts. They will be able to use their Gmail account with this device. That will be their login when they open it up. When you open up the top on this, it goes straight to your Gmail service. So they'll be able to log in, right to it, open up anything that they want. We'll give you some examples of what it looks like when they go on and when they log in just a couple of minutes. It is, as I said, a web-based technology device. You're only able to access appropriate sites. If a student accidentally opens up a site that is inappropriate, they can close the site immediately and let the teacher know. The sharing of inappropriate sites with classmates is considered to be disruptive and off-task and can warrant disciplinary actions, which would include the loss of the privileges to be able to use their Chromebook and a loss of internet or technology privileges from anywhere from a 10-day to an extended period of time. The browser history is what we will look at. The students will be able to look through that, and we'll also check on that to make sure we see details about how it's being used. And again, these are school property, so the teachers are able to conduct random searches of the files on the student's computer to see if it is being used appropriately. It helps our students be organized. They can create folders for all their classes, name it for all of it, language arts classes, math, science, social studies. Put your documents in there, submit it to the teachers. It creates the electronic paper trail that we know so well in our workforce. So it's there for us to be able to work with our students to help them be prepared for that also. And as I said, we're excited about this opportunity to have these. It's an investment, as I said, about $1,300. They're valued at about $300 a piece. So it is an investment that the county, the school district has made for us, and we're looking at getting these out into the students' hands just as quickly as we can. I do thank you for coming out. Ms. Eloise, our technology facilitator, is going to share some more information with you at this time, and then one of our teachers on our committee is going to go from there.
Good evening. My name is Ella Wise. I'm the Instructional Technology Facilitator. Give me just a second to get to my notes here. And there are some seats down in the front, so if you'd like to come down and have a seat, we do still have some empty seats. So what I'm going to talk to you about is the information that you will be signing, or what the information is on the form that you're going to be signing when you go down to the cafeteria. So when you go to the cafeteria, everything that I'm getting ready to present, that's what's going to be on the form that you need to sign. So you do not need to read the form when you go to the cafeteria unless you want to. But again, I'm covering all of that information that's going to be on that form. So the instructional initiative, and some of this information Mr. Smith mentioned, so I'll just kind of quickly go through it or review it. It says a laptop will be assigned to your child to be used throughout the day in core and elective classes. They will be responsible for the use and care of the device. The laptop will not be taken home with the student and must remain on the school campus. Some of our goals are increased student engagement, increased student ownership in the learning process, including modality and pace, increased ability for teachers to offer differentiated instruction, increased access to real-time data and information, increased opportunities for formative assessment and immediate feedback to better inform instruction, improved district and school-wide student-to-computer ratio to better prepare for the transition to online assessments. Some of the student responsibility or the information, the specific things that's on the liability statement are: the student and or parent guardian is liable for the repair and or replacement costs resulting from intentional damage. We had a lot of questions after the first session, but we're talking about intentional damage. We know accidents will happen, but we're talking about intentional damage, loss, theft, or neglect to the device. If it has been determined that your child is responsible for the damage or repairs based on the computer use and history and other methods, you will be notified of the replacement or repair cost. The purchase price of the device is approximately $300, and that will be the maximum cost for which a parent or guardian will be responsible for. Any damage to or theft of the laptop must be reported immediately to a teacher, and an administrator may determine disciplinary action will be taken, if it will be taken. The laptop is the legal property of Harnett County Schools, and then it just has some policies listed there. These policies are included in detail in the student handbook. And this just states that if any violations of the board policy during the use of the laptop may result in disciplinary action, including the revocation of the privilege of using that particular device. The student's use of the laptop will be monitored, and there should be no expectation of privacy. So like any other device that we use here in the school on our wireless network, the information or sites are monitored. The students, whatever searches they do, that will be monitored. If it's anything inappropriate, then district will be notified, and then we will be notified. There are tracking devices, but we don't really, and that's more applicable to the teacher Chromebooks, but some of the parents had asked about that, but it's just a matter of keeping up with that device in case it is removed from campus. All internet use will be filtered, as are all other Harnett County student school devices. A guide to the proper use and care and expectations are included in the documentation that you'll sign tonight. at the conclusion of this meeting. So at the conclusion of this meeting, again, you'll exit the door to the right, go down to the cafeteria. In the cafeteria, there will be teachers there to greet you. And there's one form that you will sign, and then there's a two-sided form that has the guidelines and the proper care and use information that you will take with you. The classroom teacher may set usage guidelines for the laptops as far as when and how often the laptops are to be used. Students must comply with the instructions from the teacher as to when use of the laptop is or is not appropriate. Failure to adhere to the teacher's guidelines will result in disciplinary action. In order for your child to be assigned a laptop, you and your child must agree to the conditions outlined in this presentation by signing the liability statement. So again, that statement is available in the cafeteria. The statement, and I told you already that the statement includes the use form, the guidelines. Now, as far as the Chromebook covers, we have had a lot of questions about the Chromebook covers. These are some examples of the Chromebook covers that you can purchase. Now, the one that Ms. Boyd is showing you, these are for regular laptop size devices. So they are larger than the Chromebook. But the good thing about it is the price. We got them from 5 and Below, the store 5 and Below. And they have a strap on them so that will make it easier for the student to transport it in the hallway. So those are $5. What we've been doing is students have been bringing $5 into their homeroom teacher, and then the homeroom teacher or someone that they designate will go to the store 5 and Below and purchase these $5 ones. That's a $5 one. Also, it's a sleeve that you would stick the Chromebook in, and that one is a snugger fit than the other ones. Now this one, if you show it to me, thank you. This one is about $20 off of Amazon, and Ms. Boyd's going to show you what it looks like on. And that's a sleeve, so that's a separate sleeve. And then you have a cover. And notice the cover is clear, so you can still see the student's name on the outside, make it easy for the student to identify theirs. They come in different colors that you can specify. If you give us $5 and we go to 5 and Below, you kind of get what we bring back. And then also the covers here, it will allow you to leave the cover on when you put it back into the cart. Some of the other ones you have to take it out of the bag so that you can plug it back into the cart. And then we have another one. And again, this one is from 5 and Below. So as far as the covers, you can purchase your child a cover. That way they can personalize their device, and you can pay whatever amount you would like that will give them that extra cushion or protection. Or you can bring $5 or send $5 to the school, and then someone will go and buy one of these covers here for $5. We are asking that if you can to send extra money or donations for students that may not be able to afford these covers for their device. As Mr. Smith mentioned, they can personalize their covers, but they cannot personalize their Chromebooks. So at this time, we're going to walk around with some Chromebooks to let you see what they look like. These are Dell Chromebooks. We had a couple of questions about the size, and we said they were 12 by, I can't remember now. 11.6 by, that looks like what? This side, this way here. So I'm trying to measure with a piece of paper. 8, okay. So 11.6 by 8, and they're about 1 inch thick. And when we dismiss from here, you're more than welcome to come up here and take a closer look at the Chromebooks and the covers. As far as the Chromebook rollout, we're going to start with the 8th graders because of the online testing that's going to start towards the end of the month. And then we'll go to 7th grade and 6th grade. We have about 1,300 Chromebooks that we're going to receive. We already have a little shy of 900 of them, and then we have 300 waiting to come. In a very short period of time, we should be able to have them all. If you have any questions, of course, contact the homeroom teacher. And then if you need to contact someone other than a homeroom teacher, feel free to give me a call. Again, there's my name and my phone extension, which is 172. And that's it.
Ms. Steiner and Ms. Wise have come up there with a question, because in ordering these, you have to have the model number
For a cover.
for a cover.
It's Chromebook 11,
It is a Chromebook 11,
model number CB1,
model number CB1
C13.
C13. And from the first time, yes,
Can you say that a little bit slower?
I can.
CB1, Chromebook 11,
Chromebook 11,
model CB1,
CB1
C13.
C13. Some questions that came up from our first session before I turn this over to Ms. Boyd to show a little bit about how we will be using the Chromebooks, about insurance. At this time, there is not an insurance policy to do with anything with these. It's not being offered. That is something that we are continuing to look into. These are going to be pretty much your students' textbooks. So when we went to school and we had the textbooks, we didn't have to buy an insurance policy for the textbooks. If you damaged a textbook or lost a textbook during the course of the school year, which I know none of you in here did, somebody else did it, but you were still responsible for paying for the damage of that. A second question has come up is, what if it's stolen? Well, there are serial numbers inside and outside, so that's how we're able to track down where it goes, where it comes from, and where we're good. We do have some tracking systems that are in place to monitor those, so that's what we're looking at to try to make sure that that does not become a problem, because again, we're trying to get these in the hands of everyone on the campus. And the last thing, if I don't want my child to have one, then what? Well, the teachers have to be able to offer an alternative instructional method to your child. Just as if you don't want your child to go on a field trip, they have to offer a comparable activity for them here at the school. So if they are doing something on the Chromebook, we do have some MacBook Airs, we do have some netbooks. They will have to use a comparable device here at the school to be able to use what they're doing there at school. So, and that, the quality will not be the same, but it will be available for that. So I'm going to turn this over now to Ms. Boyd, one of our 8th grade math teachers, and she's going to show you what we're going to be doing as we actually get these in your child's hands and how it will be organized and used.
Hi there. I'm Jennifer Boyd. I'm part of the 8th grade teaching staff here at Harnett Central Middle. And I'm going to go over a little bit of the basic use and setup of the Chromebooks, so you'll be able to see what your students are going to be experiencing when they get their Chromebooks rolled out to them. Also, there were some questions in the first session, why is this part important to me? Well, this part is important to you because you will be, your students, although they're going to be using their Chromebooks at school, because everything's on Google and it's in the cloud, they can go home and access it at home from your computer at home. And you will also be able to go into their classwork and into their account and see what they're doing online. Just like with any other technology or social media, you can get their login and their password and go in and look and see what they're doing, and they can work on it at home even though they don't have their Chromebook, which is one of the beauty and the joy, one of the beauties of this whole process. So you're going to see that they have a Gmail account, that all of them do have a Gmail account, so that's not really anything different. If you don't know what your child's Gmail account and password is, ask them. They can tell you. And that's how they will access their Chromebook. The screen looks very much like that. And you can see right there in the bottom left hand, there's a tray that has all of your icons. And that's kind of your starting point for creating any of your documents and anything the student's going to be doing in class. Again, we're showing you this so that you can see what they're going to be doing. Over on the right-hand side is the battery meter and the clock and all those things that you need to have that make it a little easier to use. But your tray and the places you'll start from and the apps you'll go to are there on the left-hand side, the Chrome. Okay, when they're going in to create their subject folders, everything in Google land is, they have apps. There's a little box up in the right-hand corner. To me, it looks like a Rubik's Cube or a box, 9 squares together, and you can click on that box and it takes you anywhere you need to go, to your Drive, to your Gmail, whatever you need to do, Classroom. They'll be using Classroom a whole lot. When at first their folders and files, they're going to look pretty empty because they're building their database. But as they move along through this process, they will create files. They should create a file for every subject that they're working on, and you'll be able to go in and look at those files at home on your computer. You won't need their Chromebook to do that because you'll be able to access it through their Google account, their Gmail. The first day, we will actually be creating folders for them, helping them get their subjects set up and working through that process in the classroom. And you can ask them about it when they come home. They should have a folder for each subject, and then within that subject folder, their assignments will be located there. And probably the teachers will actually have subfolders for each unit or whatever topic they're working on during that time period. And now that you are in your folder, you can create different documents. Depending on what the assignment is that your teacher's having you work on, you'll be able to see what your student's doing. You can go in and look at the assignment yourself at home. Just like you used to go through the book bag, now you can go and look into their Gmail account and in their Drive. And they can create files and documents through this. And oftentimes they'll be wondering how to name it. They may ask you for some suggestions, and simple but different enough so that they will remember what they've named it and can find it. That's probably the hardest thing. I know I have trouble with that sometimes, what to name it, so I'll never forget it. But then I do forget it, so I have to go search it. This is how you name, you name your files by almost like in Windows arrangement, but you name your files. If you forget, you can search for it. There are numerous ways to search for your files, and there's a search box. You can look for your folder. If you can't find it immediately, you can continue to try some different options till you get there. Organization tips. We all want to be more organized. Make and use folders for each class. Make folders within classes for other topics or units. And always give your files names that are specific and clear so you can find them again. And that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you for coming, and we'll turn it back over to Mr. Smith.